What's going on, y'all? Lynn Ray here. So just want to do a quick little video just outlining the difference between gross pay and net pay. Now, the reason I make this video is because as you know, as we know, I'm in the trucking industry, or as whoever knows, I'm in the trucking industry, you're in the trucking industry, and we use YouTube quite a bit to look for options, right? Looking for job options, looking for how much certain companies pay and things like that. So one of the things I always come across in the comments is I always see people asking, what's the net pay? We don't care. I mean, literally some people are like, I don't care about the gross pay. What's the net pay? What am I going to take home? Well, quite frankly, the net pay really does not matter because it varies. It's going to be different depending on where you live at. If you're single, if you're married, how many children you have, what benefits you have, what type of insurance, life insurance, health insurance, right? All the city you live in, state, county, right? It's all going to vary depending on that. So what's most important, I'll just give you the answer here. Most important is the gross pay, right? So we're just going to go over very briefly, I'm going to try and make this video very quick, on the difference between gross pay and net pay. And I did that pretty much, I just basically Googled in gross pay versus net pay difference, right? So I found this website here, the ADP website. It's basically a website about finances and business and things like that, little tools and stuff. So it's actually a really good website. I would just check out if I were you. It's got tons of really good information. So we're going to go ahead and scroll down, and we have right here, gross pay is what employers earn before taxes, benefits, and other payroll deductions are withheld from their wages. The amount remaining after all withholding are accounted for is the net pay or take-home pay. Now, going back to what I said before, right? If I work in, let's say, California, I may gross $2,000, right? If I live in Houston, I may gross $2,000. But we're going to take home two completely different take homes, right? We're going to have two completely different net pays. All right. So this is a bunch of other information. You can read it, whatever. But so here we are, net pay. All right. The compensation that employees get to take home depends on the variety of payroll deductions, some of which may be voluntary, whereas others are mandatory, right? So these are things, right? Income, federal income, state income, Social Security, wage garnishment. If you have liens on your house, things might be different, right? Or if you have child support, things might be different. Retirements, withdrawals, right? All those things will affect your net pay. So again, what's most important is the gross pay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and scroll over here, and I'm going to show you, I found this paycheck calculator I've actually used many, many years ago, just when calculating my taxes and things like that. And so it's a really, really good website to have. And it's actually called smartasset.com, not affiliated with them at all, but it's very useful when trying to calculate things, right? So what I've done here is I've got you can't really see my tabs, but I've got 4 tabs open. And this first one here is for Los Angeles, right? And so I have an hourly wage of $32, 40 hours a week, and then overtime, 48, which is time and a half for 15 hours a week. Now, in the trucking industry, especially when you're local, we know that 50 to 60 hours a week is normal, right? If you're a local worker, it's almost guaranteed. Well, maybe not if you're food service, because those guys kind of, if they can get their day done in like 7 hours, they're done. But for the most part, most of us are running 10 to 12-hour shifts, right? So in the local industry, 50 to 60 hours is pretty normal, right? And so what I've done here is I've gone ahead and, put that there. So $32, and again, the wage varies. It could be $26. It could be $32. It just depends on where you work at, right? So I use 32 because quite honestly, I've seen a lot of $32 an hour jobs, right? In the trucking industry working locally. So what I've done here, I'll go ahead and, we'll go ahead and scroll down. So basically this dollar amount, $32 an hour for 40 hours and $48 an hour when overtime for 15 hours will bring you to a gross income of $2,000, right? So all these things will be the same for all of these cities and states. All right. So federal one, state one, local one. Weekly pay. Weekly pay is pretty common in the trucking industry. So if we I mean, we can go through all of this stuff too, but that's, you know, it is important, but you know that things will be different depending on the state you live in, right? So this is Los Angeles, California, right? So we gross $2,000, right? You may gross $2,000 in California, but you are going to take home $1,353, right? Now we'll move to the next city and state. I put the same thing. This is Atlanta, Georgia, $32 an hour, 40 hours, 48 for 15 overtime, right? Same thing, single, paid weekly, 111, right? And again, here's the difference. Now you're grossing $2,000, but now getting paid $1,383. Remember, Los Angeles, same gross, right? But you're getting paid $1,353, right? So we'll move on to the next city and state, which is Mobile, Alabama, right? So same thing, single, weekly, 111, gross 2,000, and you're getting paid 1,408, right? So they're all different, right? So that's why gross pay is important. Now we'll go to, what did I get? Yeah, Houston, Texas. So Houston, Texas, same thing, single, and now you're getting paid 1,486, right? So we're all getting paid $2,000 gross, but you're taking home different net amounts due to where you live at. Yeah, and so I won't go too much deep down into that. So that's all I really want to say. There is a difference between the two. You know, when you're watching these YouTube videos and doing your research and things like that, the gross pay is what's most important, right? It's most important, just quite frankly, right? Because we all have different circumstances. Now, if we all live in the same city and state, have the same circumstances, one kid, we have, you know, the exact same Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance, and we're taking the same amount of deductions out for, you know, taxes and things like that, then yes, our pay will be exactly the same. But that is not the case, right? We all are at a different stage, and we all have, you know, ones and twos in different spots here, right? So putting a 3 here might, look at that. So putting a 3 there, now you're getting paid that, right? But, you know, let's not do that. You know, then you'll be owing taxes at the end of the year. So, well, it didn't refresh there. But anyways, oops. I did something wrong. Oh, it changed. There we go. So yeah, so that's pretty much all I got. Just understand that understand the difference between the two, because it is important, right? When we're making these job decisions, obviously pay is important. I know a lot of companies I've actually heard of some companies guilting people, you know, when asking how much they pay and stuff like that. But it's important, right? We have to support ourselves, right? So understanding the difference between gross and net is super important. And again, gross pay is what's most important when trying to calculate these types of things, because all of our circumstances are different. That's all I got, man. Appreciate y'all, and talk to you later. Peace.